Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Wait a minute. We missed, what did we only miss 1 week?
can't even remember. Did we miss one? We might have missed two.
I think we
Maybe
just missed
I
one.
think we just missed one. Yeah,
It's
we
been a
had
crazy 2 weeks. I feel like all right. Sidebar. Is it just me or does it feel like every week feels like 7 weeks with all the AI crazy lately? Like I don't know why, but it just feels like every week feels like an eternity
there's
these
so
days.
much to like catch up on, and then
Right.
so much to like redo.
Yep. And there's like everybody's building something. So there's like always some new project or something that somebody's done that's like, oh, that's crazy. Like I can't believe like Aaron has launched like 5 things in the last two
No,
weeks. Maybe that's like part of it, like people
that's
are
part of
just
it.
like shipping a bunch and it just feels like it's been forever because normally it took like a month for people to ship the same amount of stuff that people now ship in like a week.
The speed at which you can do things is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But it
Wow.
also like invites this whole new thing of like FOMO in a lot of ways of like,
Mm-hmm.
if I did ship something today, was I
Dude.
a real developer?
Yeah, I have been fighting that feeling so bad. And it is like it has been killing me because I've like lately has I've been um like I'm in a phase of a project like a polish phase of a
Hmm.
project. And so I spent like a whole day on one thing, like one little
Okay.
thing to just get it right.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I failing? Like why did it take a whole day? Like what am I doing wrong? And then, just I just think about it and I'm like, no, because like that stuff still has to happen. Like you can ship a bunch of stuff really quickly. You can explore a lot, you can get a lot of functionality done. But when it comes to like that, it's that like 80-20 rule. Like the
Mm.
the the last 20% is always, I think, still going it like if you care about it. Like I think there
Yep.
will be people who will do like, all right, this is 80% done, good enough, ship it.
Yep.
Um, but like if you're trying to close that 20% gap, I think that work will always take a while to just fine tune it like good.
Yeah. Absolutely. How's your last week? What'd you get up to this past week?
Busy, lots of projects. One, obviously work, but also I've been porting over the DAW, Web Audio DAW, to
Okay.
Remix. So I am building a desktop application,
Nice.
and I was originally building it in Tari with like Rust and
Okay.
stuff. Um, and then I started getting into this polish phase of where I wanted the design to go, and Tari had some restrictions on the top bar that I didn't like. So I switched to Electron, which
Okay.
was a single prompt. It was literally like, hey, take this Tari app and turn it into an Electron app. And it was like,
And
okay.
everything worked exactly how it was before.
Yeah, dude, Derek, what's up, man?
Derek, how you doing? Glad to have you.
So yeah, it was like, yeah, happy to make this an Electron app. Do it right now. And it like took, like 5 minutes and it ported the whole thing over. Like a lot of that is because of the architecture that I've chosen.
Okay.
Like the native part of it is like purposefully really thin. Um, I'll talk about that. I can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But
Yeah, maybe you could talk about that in a little bit. But the question that I immediately think of is, what's the things that you miss from Tori now that you're on Electron? Because I've always heard like Electron, you know, I know that this is probably an implementation thing, but
mhm.
everyone always says Electron's like like resource hungry, and so like Tori's so much better on like that aspect, even if the DX nicety is not there, all those kind of things.
Right. I think it depends on like what you're building with it.
Okay.
Uh, and I'm not building anything that uses that much of either. Like
Yeah.
my architecture is purposefully built to where I'm not like the fact that it's local is not because I need local things yet. Now that may change once I start getting into like file uploads, file referencing, that kind of stuff. So that I will be curious to find out. But I switched pretty early on before I got into a lot of the heavy
The
lifting.
intricate stuff. Okay.
Um, but I don't think it'll be like a crazy I don't think it'll be like too much that I missed because of what I'm building. But yes, yeah. So switched from Rust to Electron. Now like I can fine tune the UI exactly how I want it, building it in Remix, and it has been a ton of fun building with Remix. We will definitely dig into that in a little bit. And then outside of digital work, I have been painting.
Decorating.
My office is now a dark, moody green. Um, and I am like this far away from finishing up the boys' room. We were putting up wainscoting and wallpaper, and I now have the beadboard up. The beadboard's
Okay.
painted, which is a pain in the butt because you have to paint each of those like individual beadboard lines with a paintbrush all around the room. And then we put wallpaper up above the beadboard, and then I've already gone through and put all the trim in. And so like the last two steps is like put spackle on all the nail holes for the trim, and then paint all
Yeah.
the trim, and then we're done with the boys' room.
Nice.
So, what have you been up to?
My week has been a little crazy, like not too crazy, but a little crazy. Just enough crazy, I think, in the sense that my the thing that I've been working on the most is trying to figure out how to get all the projects I want to do actually done in any given week. One, and then two, like make sure that like I'm balancing everything up to the point. So like, I haven't done too
Mhm,
much this week, honestly. Like it was fun. Got back into live streams. We did a live stream with Taylor Otwell on Monday, which was fun. Talking through the Laravel AI SDK, which launched last week, which was
mhm.
fun from a work project. And the neat part is, I learned that Taylor is a Taco Bell fan.
Mm.
So yeah, we had a good chat. He has a Taco Bell right next to his house, and so he says he goes grabs a couple of bean burritos, scarves them down if it's a quick lunch. Like,
Oh,
okay, there we go.
yes. We
So now,
love we love finding more Taco Bell. I actually just had Taco Bell. This is like when I think the perfect time for Taco Bell is.
yeah,
Um, when you've got a lot of work to do.
mhm,
I think it's because of like my childhood. I and like college. So like in my childhood, we did not eat Taco Bell a lot. But
okay,
if my mom needed to go do a bunch of stuff at the church building, we
yeah,
would always there was a Taco Bell on the way to the church building. And so she would get us Taco Bell, put us in one of the classrooms, and then go do whatever she needed to do at the church building.
there you
And
go.
then in college, industrial design is like studio work. So you're like
Yeah,
up late working on projects at the school in the studio. You can't really do too much of the work from home, so you have to be up at the studio. And so you'd end up leaving late, and like the only thing open late is Taco Bell. And
there you
so
go.
I ate a bunch of Taco Bell in college, like on like big studio nights where I had to like
Yeah,
be working. So it's like now anytime I like, man, I got a lot of work to do. I need some Taco Bell. So I got Taco Bell when I was about to like spend the whole day painting
there you
my
go.
office. I like got a little Taco Bell, had it in here, munching on a taco, go paint some more. It was great.
There you go. Yeah. Outside of a little bit of like that stuff for work, like we had some like family stuff that made like last week a little bit crazy, new kids, so sleep schedules are all up and down and here and that. Nancy be doing lots of the church building. There you go.
Nancy
Doxed
doesn't.
them.
This is Anna. I grew up with Anna. She went to church with me.
There we go.
And so she knows my mom, Nancy. Nancy is always up at the church building. That is for sure.
There we go. But yeah, so it was a fun week and just kind of still getting back into the groove of things and trying to figure things out
Mhm.
while having a little baby at home is fun. It's fun.
Always an adjustment
Yeah.
because they
Uh,
change so much. Like it's not like one adjustment. It like the first little bit is like a bunch of adjustments because they change so fast and their routine is like constantly in flux for like the first year.
Oh yeah. So much up in the air.
All right.
But it's been
Now
it's been going good
you're not going to EU because you are with newborn, but you
with
are
newborn.
planning on going to Japan and now Boston. Are you gonna get to go to both? Or are you going to one? What's the
Yep,
plan?
I am. I will be going to Japan in May for Laravel Live Japan, which would be
Mhm.
awesome.
That'd be amazing.
And then yeah, Boston in July. I think I can't remember the exact date, but July.
I think it's like
Yeah,
30th or something like that.
yep. First time in Boston, I think. Think first time.
I have been once in high school, but it was like a high school trip, so doesn't really
I
count.
I think we might have gone when I was like we did my parents, my dad's family lives in New York. So I think
Mhm,
we did a trip where we went to like like New York City. I know we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania. I don't know if we went to Boston though. I actually
mhm, mhm.
like I'm not well versed on
We're
US
yeah, we're gonna count it as
geography.
a no because if you can't even remember going, then it doesn't count as
It doesn't
you.
count. Yeah. So we'll say this is my first time going to Boston. So I'm pumped for that.
I put in my talk.
Ooh, there you
So,
go.
but the form was different this year. It was like way shorter, and you could only put like a single line for your talk description. So
I
I'm
saw
not
that. I think that has gotten changed now. In the
okay.
sense that I
I
think
need
it
to
is like
resubmit. I might
I
need to resubmit because I like literally did it the day of, and I was like, "This feels like you're not gonna get enough information."
yeah, it is now a Notion
Cool. Okay. Well, I am going to take a
link,
look
it
at that
looks
again,
like.
and I'll resubmit that, and you can tell the powers that be that if I have 2 entries and 1 is garbage, it's because that was the first version.
Yeah. So there you go. I'll put in I'll put a good word.
There we go. I'm excited to go.
And you are heading to you? Oh no, you were saying that there was the design conference that you wanted to go to Japan.
Oh,
That's happening like in the
yes.
next
I want to go
month or
so
so.
bad. So it's called the Tokyo Design Forum, and
Okay.
it's in Japan, and I want to go to that so bad. There's a bunch of big design names that are gonna be there, and the person who um, started the conference was like at ValioCon, and he was like,
Okay.
"Dude, come," and I was like, "I wish I could, but I'll definitely like put it on the schedule for next year."
Nice. There you go.
Livewire or Inertia with View?
What's up,
Ooh,
Kodo Master? Glad to have you here. I actually have a topic about
okay.
this later on
Is
in the show.
this the perfect segue?
And we could do it. We could jump into it right now. I'm fine with
Go.
that. Okay, here's my like spicy take.
All
Well,
right. What's your spicy take?
you've been doing a lot of remix stuff, so this could fit really well. My spicy take is, and this is funny because I feel like this has changed in the last like 2 months. This
Mm-hmm.
take. I used to think that the more knowledge there was available for AI, the
Mm-hmm.
better AI was at using a specific tool. So in the
Okay.
sense of like React
Like
has a whole bunch of
because there
packages.
are so many React repos and
Yeah.
like apps built with React that's better because there's lots more information for that.
Yep. So many
Okay.
React repos, so many packages. Um, your AI agent could search like, hey, like, how do I do a graph? And there's probably
Mm-hmm.
15 different packages. It's going to pick the best one based off of popularity and go from there. I think that in a put an asterisk in a perfect, well, I think that in a subseeding set of structure with an asterisk, that React is no longer king for
Ooh.
AI coding because I think AI has moved into this space where the more flexibility you have and the less constraint and structure,
Mm-hmm.
the worse it does. And so the asterisk is in its without having clear guidelines, skills, Claude.md, agents.md, whatever you want. I think React is going to do worse than something like a Livewire or even like a Remix or a Tan Stack or a Solid.js. Why? Because just in that name is already constrictions around infrastructure,
You right.
how you
You
work.
need you think that building with something that has already made a lot of decisions is better for AI because there's fewer decisions for the AI to get wrong.
Exactly. Yep. with the asterisk that if you were building in React and you were like, hey, I want to use TypeScript on only TypeScript, and I want to do this. And if you set those constrictions, then
Mhm.
I think you're probably going to be just as good. But I think the natural constrictions help
Mhm.
because there's only one way to do it.
Right, right.
Like,
I
have
think
you
I
ever watched a vibe coding thing done in like React and there's like 20,000 use effects?
Okay. All right. So here's my opinion. I think what you said is right. I do think that like constraints breed better AI experiences. And like the more opinions that you can build into your code base, whether it comes from the technology you're using or from your own architecting of your system,
Yeah.
like the more constraints that you nail, the better your time you're going to have. The more AI can help, the more AI can do.
Yep.
The issue that I think is wrong with React, though, is like another issue that I've kind of been thinking about, and I'm not sure how good. Okay, I think the issue is that like magic foot guns is a problem.
Okay.
Um, the reason why React has like such a tough time, I think, with AI for scalable, durable software
Yeah.
is that React is extremely performant and powerful.
Mm.
It is like the fastest by far for like doing very large scale applications. But it requires you to know how to pull out all of that performance and not shoot yourself in the foot with it, aka foot guns.
Yep.
And use effect is like the biggest foot gun of them all. You know, like I any the way that I've been thinking about it is like if the technology you're using has um like magic in why it is good, AI is terrible at understanding magic.
Mm.
Like AI doesn't understand it's like, oh, use effect is for this use case.
Yep.
So I'm going to use it for that thing. And you like good luck trying to convince it otherwise for like, oh, well, use effect is not good if you can do this, this, or this. So like the only way you can get around it is by like bringing in restrictions to like keep it from like you're saying like you got to bring in some kind of like structure to your React app that will
Yep.
purposefully keep it away from using like the use effects because like that's why I think Livewire, like you're saying, Livewire is great. Also, why I'm like super bullish on Remix right now is because Remix has no magic.
Yep.
It literally is like we will not be magical. Like that is not our job. And like it just uses the browser APIs the way that they are like intended to be used.
Yep.
And so like it's the same thing that you're talking about. Like there is a lot of freedom there, but it is like freedom that is like very explicit and like yes, it may feel a little verbose at times, but like guess what is really good at that? AI.
AI is good at verbose JavaScript.
So like I think we're moving more and more towards magic is the enemy
Oh yeah.
instead of like the more implicit, more explicit your code can be, the better.
Yep. I agree. I spun up a bunch of projects just this week with AI, like
Okay.
hardly hand touched anything. And because I already had all those constraints set for like my Livewire ones, for example, they
Mhm.
just did better. And it was like almost faster because there wasn't any like back and forth of like, oh no, never mind, I don't want it that way kind of thing. So it was like the that use the browser kind of thing for a remix,
Mhm.
but something that I've already had the opinions on. So I think the people who have opinions on React and who like having those opinions, that's the
Right.
ones who are like, that's where AI is going to go.
Yep. 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 I would agree.
But if you're just starting out, I don't know if I would choose React. Like if I was saying someone to be like, hey, you know, you maybe you're familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so you're familiar with like how an application might work, and you were pulling open Claude Code or Cursor. I would
Mhm.
probably honestly like tell it to do like a Laravel app, no inertia.
I would tell it with Livewire.
Like I'll probably do Livewire, or I would just say pure JavaScript.
Really
I don't know. I don't
interesting.
know.
All right, so
I'm still
here's
I'm still
here's
thinking
my
Livewire.
here's so the reason why I think if I'm in this specific instance, somebody who's new to it, why I
Yeah.
would still recommend React is because you can get things that look good
Mm.
with little effort.
Yeah.
So like base UI, like or shad CN on top of base UI. Like you have all these like component library, you have all these pre-built world of libraries
Yeah.
that you can get where you want to go faster and better looking.
Yeah. I
Um
can see that.
and so like if you're just building something for yourself, then like
Yeah.
yeah, like definitely like and I still think like Laravel is still like the best backend to start with if you don't know anything because like
Yep.
AI is really good at it. It has a lot of like years and years of really good decisions and constraints on it. Laravel, and I think that personally, like I would say Livewire or Inertia React. The reason why I say like Livewire is because like React avoid use effect. I don't know. I don't I haven't used Livewire enough to know what the foot guns are there, but
Yeah.
the foot guns feel like less magical. Um,
The
and
foot
like
guns are
Livewire
very
has
much of
more.
like, yeah, the foot guns very much are like AI is going to want to just write JavaScript,
Mhm.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing telling you to stop doing that kind of thing. Especially with Livewire 4, you just have a script tag in it, and it's like, okay, I can do whatever I want here. I can interact with everything. So
Mhm.
the foot guns are like typical normal browser stuff that you have to worry about anyways. Of
Right, which I was gonna say the AI is really good at that. So yeah, that's like where I would go. The only reason like I would still recommend React to people is just like
niceties.
niceties, like the breadth of like component libraries and
Yeah,
packages to like get where you're going faster. But
yeah,
if I'm like talking to people who are really good programmers, then I would recommend like who are like really good like designers, like people who don't mind building their own stuff visually, then I would definitely recommend a bunch of other stuff
yeah.
instead of React at this point.
And I think it's funny where like it's less about. I feel like it's less about you uh knowing like let's say, oh, I'm a good enough developer where I know what constraints I want to make React happen. It's more about like knowing
Mhm.
terms almost now. It's like, oh, I want a React app, but I want base UI instead of shad CN, and I want no use effect. Let's actually use like effect.ts for this. It's like you don't even have to know how it all works, but if you know the terms,
Mhm.
that's half the battle.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah.
What's
There's
up,
like
bro?
there's so much to be said about like what was I was I had this like train of thought last week,
Mm,
which was like I'm not doing more. I'm not going broader with everything that I'm trying to do. Like there are people who I see who are like, yeah, I'm building like 6 different projects and I'm building this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And I'm using AI to build more things. And that's like not what I'm using AI for. Like I'm
okay.
using AI to go deeper. Like
On the things you've already built.
I have been wanting to use like effect for a while, like a long
Okay.
while, but I've never. It's been like, well, I'm like, I've not gone like built something big enough, complicated enough to warrant the effort it would take to build a whole like effect backend system.
Yeah.
Um,
I still don't
but
really know what it does. I know it by name and I know it helps with
you could
something,
think of
but
effect as like I mean, honestly, like a lot of the things that make Effect great are what make Laravel great. But it's specifically for like TypeScript backends.
It's for like specifically for like how you would like stream or like hit like a post request, like stuff like that for
It is so the way
type.
that I would think of it a lot like Laravel, like you
Interesting.
have like you might define models, you might define services. These all have like dependencies. They have like and they're all layered together to build like a back end. You could think of it as like one like pipe, like one
Yeah.
stream of thing,
Okay.
like the way you think about it. And so like just like in Laravel where you can like, hey, I've got this class, this model for like user. And there's like a production version of it, and there is a um like test version of it. And they hit different they hit different dependencies, but they run the same functionality over that dependency. Like I guess like
Okay.
you could think of it as like the database adapter for
Got it.
whatever. Like, hey, I want to substitute SQLite or I want to substitute Postgres. And like in Laravel, that's handled by like config variables.
Got it. I see.
In Java, in like TypeScript, you're like wiring all that together yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just saying like, hey, I'm going to use this ORM and I'm going to use this database. And like that is just locked in there, whether you
Yeah.
want it to be or not. And it's like the same with like your services. Like say that you call out to like a Discord API or something. In Laravel, you have some sort of like wrapper around it to where you can like have a mocked version of the Discord API for testing, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Effect's like a big thing is that like, hey, I can define this service and tell you like here's the functionality that this service is going to have, and it depends on this resource.
Okay.
And like you can inject what type of resource, like where that like functionality is operating, like what it's operating on, just like you would with like Laravel stuff. And so it's just like, hey, guess what most other frameworks have had for like forever? Really good non-manual dependency injection.
Yeah.
It also has like other like really good stuff like it has like good like observability tracing
Okay.
all the way down the stack. So like it's built in. So like before, if you wanted to like have good observability, good logging across your entire backend, you have to like manually pipe that everywhere yourself. Like if you want
Yeah.
something that's 5 function calls deep, then like you've got to somehow be able to access your log system 5 layers deep, and you do it manually. Effect just like makes all that stuff
Interesting.
work out of the box. So
So would
anyway,
you still
this doesn't
use
have to become
effect?
an Effect podcast, but
Would you still use effect with like TRPC, or does that solve the same
so
problem?
like Effect is not necessarily like HTTP
Communication
requests
layer.
per se.
Okay.
You can
It's
use it
the
with that.
okay.
So like they have like a HTTP module, they have a RPC module. So like you can build a REST API with Effect.
Got it.
You can build an RPC API with with it, and it will be TRPC.
Would you say then that it is more of like the inertia for Node and TypeScript, but like inertia with a Laravel light, if you will?
I would say it's it's Laravel.
Okay.
It's like JavaScript. It's like TypeScript's version of like a Laravel style framework.
But it's not an actual server. You just run it on Node or Bun.
Correct. Well,
Dino
that's
and stuff like that.
like that's like a dependency.
I see. I see. Okay.
You can run it on Node. You can run it on Bun. You can run it on Dino. You can run it on like whatever. They have this like module called Platform, and so like it has these abstractions on top of it to where you can say like start server, blah blah blah, whatever, and like you choose which dependency you are going to rely on
Okay.
for that. So like you could very very easily decide, hey, I want to like switch out from Node to Bun, and instead of having to like re-architect your whole app, You just switch out the dependency in the production layer and
Interesting.
you're done. So
I'd have to build something with it. I think I get it, but
there's
I don't know.
this.
Maybe
Okay,
maybe I
so
just have
I'm gonna
not built
add
big
this to
enough
my
apps
list.
to hit the problems that it solves. That's probably it.
There is his name's Kit Langdon.
I saw he does like the Effect Institute, right?
Effect.institute, and he needs to
Yeah.
get more of this done. But that is like the place to go to like understand effect. It's a really good course so far. There's an introduction to effect and effect basics that's available, and both of them kind of cover what we just talked about and will help you understand. And there's like a lot more that I don't even dig into. I've not even dug into yet. Like once you start getting into like concurrent tasks
Hmm.
and like stream, like you're saying, like you can do better stream management, etc.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
It's wild. Okay.
but yes,
All right.
no, we were what we were talking about is like I'm using it to go like deeper on
Yeah.
stuff. So like I'm learning effect. I'm jumping into like remix. Um, I'm like building a desktop application and I'm like going really deep into those and learning, and I'm not just using it to say like, hey, blindly build this thing. I don't care. Like I want you to use whatever technology and make this thing exist. I still view myself, I think the difference is like I don't view myself as like an entrepreneur, like somebody who's going to make a living from some product that I build.
Yeah.
And I think people who view themselves that way, then like yes, the leverage is in doing more, getting more like more shots on goal, basically, like
Hmm.
more chances to build a product that people care about. Then yes, like use AI to build like 5 or 7 projects at the same time and see which one starts landing, and then like go from there. But I'm like using it, I think, to just like upskill my capability as like a really really good design engineer.
Yeah.
You know, like I want I want when people start losing their jobs to AI for them to be like, "Oh, well, we can't get rid of Will," you
Hmm.
know? So like that's the way that I'm trying to use it is like, yes, I want to be using AI so I know how to use AI effectively for work, but I want to be
Yeah.
using it on really hard deep problems so that I also know where AI like, fumbles the ball and I am need to step in. Like how does that look when I'm doing stuff at the edges of what AI is good at?
That makes sense. I appreciate that. I feel like that's what I am
Never get
striving
rid
to
of
do
Will.
too.
Thank you. Thank you, Clint.
Validation right there.
Absolutely.
All right. What's this city thing that you're talking about?
Say that again.
What's this city thing you're talking about?
City thing.
The city of a billion pixels.
City. Oh, this is from the time before.
This is from the time before? Oh, never mind then.
Yes. Okay.
Huh.
So that's the did you see
Did we
did I
talk about
give
this
the
one?
one the isometric
Oh,
city of New
we
York?
might have talked about this one.
I think we talked about this
I'm working
one.
in the
Okay.
old linear thing.
I got
That's why.
all right, here's what we're gonna do. Let me share my screen
Yeah,
and
you
I'm gonna go through I've got I've got tool of the week and I've got follow of the week. So like
nice.
this is something I'm going to start doing whenever I've got these. Like last time I had like a song of the week.
Oh
Um
yeah, I remember that. That was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I've got one of those too. So this is my tool of the week. I was going to show it last time, but this tool is incredible. This tool is called Super Colors. Um And what it allows you to do is to define custom color palettes. But it does it finally in like a way that makes sense for somebody who's like building like a full palette um, from scratch to where you're not having to like define everything. So it works with OKLCH colors, which
Okay.
is like like that's like what I use um, for all of my. You can pick different color formats, but I always use OKLCH. And
Yeah.
then it lets you like toggle between P3 and sRGB. So P3 is like you get brighter colors with
Okay.
P3, and like most monitors at this point have access to P3 colors. Um, so like, yeah, here we go. More vibrant colors. It's a wider gamut of colors. But the way that this works is you have this like style editor, and you get to pick a few different things. So like you can pick from like existing patterns. I'm gonna undo this in a second, but you can pick from like presets, basically like, oh hey, like I want to define a color palette that matches the same style as Tailwind, but I want to have like a custom hue, basically.
Okay.
Like you would add like a color that's in between the red and the orange, and you want it to be more red orange, but it will like match the same curve, the same like number of shades, and the same like naming pattern that Tailwind has. It does the same thing across like all the other um it does like a bunch of these. Or
Interesting.
you can define your own custom one, which is
Hmm.
what I did. And you can choose like how do you want it named? Do you want it like 1 through 12? Like you choose like whatever your
Yeah.
naming is. You choose like what the base position is, like what is like the middle color. Um
Okay.
and then you can like flip between how many shades you want. Like, oh, you want to get like 19 steps in your color palette scale? Like, great. And then like you also get to change using like a Bezier curve. You can change like how fast the color changes through your steps from like dark to light.
Huh.
Um,
Okay.
and like I generated this in probably like 5 minutes, and it would have taken me like a few hours otherwise.
Yeah.
Um, and
That's
this is
wild.
like all my color palette that I'm using for like my DAW editor. So it's incredible. It's awesome. You should 100% go play around with it and check it out. But like I've not even like dug into everything that you could possibly do with it. Like you can also change like the saturation scale. Like you can change all sorts of things and get a bunch of cool like different style of like color palettes in like no time at all. Just messing around with this tool. But yeah, super colors. It's awesome.
Super colors. That's crazy.
All right. This is what I'm going to call follow of the week. Kostya Farber is like someone who I have been following for a while now, and he is such a good follow. So he is building a font editor from scratch using it's in
Okay.
Electron, but it still uses Rust. Um, but I'm going to ask him to be on the show soon because I want to like dig into all of this stuff. But he's like building this himself, and it's like a vector editor, but specifically for fonts. And I think that this is like my type of person, you know, like this is
Yeah.
like the type of stuff that I do, and I just he's such a good follow. So yeah, I'm gonna put his. I'll put it in the chat so people can follow him. But yes,
Sweet. Just
great,
follow.
great follow.
I love it.
But yeah, those are my of the week. Actually, I do have a song. This is nothing new, but like this is like the been listening to it on repeat. What is it? Yeah, there we go. This is my song of the week. Your
Love is a song.
Switchfoot.
But yeah.
It's a
This
classic. It is a classic, but I had forgotten about it, and I've been recently getting back into Switchfoot lately, and I've listened to this one on like repeat, and like all my boys this morning, I was dropping them off at my mother-in-law's today, and I started playing this song, and my youngest, my 2-year-old, he goes, "No, I don't want this," and my 4-year-old looks over and he goes, "What are you talking about? We love this song." And he just starts singing along. And then they both just start singing along with it. And I was like, oh man, I think I've listened to this probably a little too much then because they were like singing like every single word. But yes,
that's a throwback song. I love that song. I remember that.
it is such a good one. But yeah,
Reminds me of Caleb Porzio wore a Switchfoot t-shirt when he launched
did he really?
Livewire, or when he was announcing Livewire for
Four.
on the Laricon US
Oh,
stage.
it was at yeah, Laricon US. I did not notice that was a Switchfoot.
Switchfoot t-shirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, he's Caleb's a bro.
Yeah, he does. He right before I went at the start of the year, I had to fly out to San Francisco for work. And one of the oh dude, Clint, always we love gotten them into Punch Brothers. I've not
Punch
shared Punch Brothers
Bros.
enough with people. Have you ever heard of Punch Brothers, Josh?
I think I have. Yes.
Punch Brothers are awesome. So, um, he had that episode of Notes on Work where he um shared like a bunch of music that he's been listening to over the past year. Like he did
Yeah.
like his own version of Spotify Wrapped because he was like, Spotify Wrapped is garbage. It's not actually what I've been listening to. Here's what I've actually been listening to. And I got like a lot of like good like Arcadian Wild was one of the ones that he shared, and I've been like all about the Arcadian Wild. It's a great band. So
I love it. I love it. I got some things to share. I
Sure.
like there's
Share.
there's kind of like one big topic that
Mhm.
we've kind of hit on a little bit, but I'm just curious to see if you read this
Okay.
and then your thoughts. And then two, kind of like an addendum to that is this whimsy stuff that I've been thinking about.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I'm gonna share my screen. There was a blog post blowing up, and I know it blows up when it is something that I see outside of tech circles.
Okay.
Um, add this to the stage, plop this open. Something big is happening. So this blog post that I know because I saw it shared on like Facebook, like friends of mine were sending this to me of like, oh, what do you think about this? So I know it was like completely outside of the tech circle.
Right. Right.
Really good blog post, really in depth, but basically like this question of like, hey, if you don't think that your life is going to change and possibly your job is going to change because of AI,
Right.
then you're wrong and do something about it, basically.
Right.
Like you need
Right.
to be preparing now. So it's kind of like this very depressing blog in a way, because
Right.
I think I personally think, I don't know if you read it, but I personally think it's true in a lot of ways, in the sense of like, um, you know, how we code now is already completely different from how we coded a year ago.
Right.
So how we code next year is probably going to be way different if we're even coding at all.
Right.
But it kind of goes into like, okay, how fast is this actually moving?
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you do? Like, what do you do about it? What does this mean for your job? And so the thing that I wanted to talk through and like riff on is one, you kind of mentioned it in the sense of like, you're using AI to make sure that Will is not replaceable.
Correct. Yes. 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 Yes.
And the thing that I've learned just in the past like 6 months about like AI kind of sucking at design, or at
Mhm.
least taste. AI sucks at music generation.
Right.
And like actually having like flair. AI sucks at 3D printing and like designing 3D printing files.
Mhm.
Like all of it makes me think of like, okay, here's the things that I want to focus on is all
Mhm.
things that AI sucks at, or at
Mhm.
least be so familiar that I can do it. Like I feel like
Right.
this is the world that we live in now, where before you used to be like, I am really good at back end. I know exactly how a Linux kernel works.
Right.
And like that was your thing.
Mhm.
Now I think like it's going to pay to be a jack of all trades. Before it kind of sucked to be employable if you were a
Mhm.
jack of all trades.
Mhm.
Where I feel like if I'm talking from like me personally, I like this as like have no ego about it. This might be the most important year of your career. Work accordingly. Then think about where you stand and lean into what's hardest to replace. Like I think me personally, where I kind of like sucked at before was like, oh, when I was applying for jobs, it would be like, oh yeah, I can help with like internal tools because I'm a developer, or I can help with support, or I
Right.
can do videos.
Right.
I can also like I'm not a great designer, but I know how to use Figma or Photoshop. So if you need
Mhm.
like quick things spun up, I can do that.
Yep.
Before that was like, okay, just pick a lane, dude. You're never gonna get hired if you don't focus on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I feel like it is the thing that people are going to need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, okay. So my first thought is this article is,
You don't like
um,
it?
I think that it is directionally correct.
Okay.
I think it's directionally correct, but I also think that it is AI generated. So
Interesting. You think it's
I
AI
think some
generated?
guy was like, "Hey, I feel this way. Um, please write a really long article with a whole lot of like phrasing that is very confrontational, like that is
Interesting.
purposefully trying to incite fear in people." Um, and I'm not saying that it's directionally wrong. I think it's directionally correct. I just think it's like overinflating AI and its ability to replace things as fast as it's saying, because that insinuation, I don't think that it's wrong in that like a lot of knowledge work is going to be farmed out to AI. Um, but I do think that it is. I do think you need to start thinking, if you are a knowledge worker, like, where is my value? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I
Okay.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be thinking about how you fit into a world where AI can do a lot of work that is
Yeah.
just standard knowledge work, like research, reading and comprehending, um, that kind of stuff. Like generating uh markup, like structured markup of any kind, you know? Um, but I think here's like the interesting thing is that like I think there's a level at which AI will not be able to replace you, but it's replacing everything under you.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
the hard part becomes like, okay, you and me are like far enough along in our career. I'm far along. Um, I'm Ryan, I'd love to know what their TL. I'd not watched yesterday's. Hit us with the TLDR if you
Yeah.
got it.
TLDR, and then what's your thoughts? Like just
Yeah, yeah.
off the
So,
cuff,
so I
first
want to.
initial reaction. Is it AI generated? That's the first thing. Because I didn't think it was.
It
I
is
don't
one
think it
billion
was.
percent. 1 billion% it
But
is.
then I wrote an article for the first time. I actually like I first complete tangent, then you could get back. But like
No, you're
I
good.
wrote an article and posted on X, so like X articles.
Mm-hmm.
And like I basically spoke it, took the transcript, and then edited it.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone told me, like in the comments, like, "Oh, that's like AI generated." It's like this is I actually like put more work into this than I did coding this morning.
That is so funny.
So
No,
I don't know if I speak like an AI person, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like necessarily AI, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's
It-
clearly purposefully like the
it's
way it's being.
written to go viral.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It is written to cause like fear and
Hmm.
like emotional reactions.
Was that
And I
your
think
reaction? I
do
think
what?
my reaction wasn't even fear. My
I,
reaction was like,
I don't
"Oh,
think it
I'm
was
like
written
on the
to
right
us
path."
per se. Like I think it was written to like
Okay,
people
I
who
see.
have not, like, you and me have been in AI so long, like this isn't gonna be a drop in the bucket for like the way we're
Been
thinking
here
about
3 years already.
our future. Um, but I do think that like there are a lot of people who are like have not even thought about AI, have not even just like tried AI,
Yeah.
who have tried AI long enough ago that they were like, oh well, this is not worth anything, and then they just ignored it. This is for them, and it's meant to
Okay.
kind of like scare slash light a fire under them, I think. Um, but like I think it is directionally correct that AI is going to replace. I think the fear that I have the most of is that what does the future look like for people to get to a place where they are better than AI?
Okay, I see.
Because there is no more incentive to be the type of person who can be better than AI if AI does the first 5 steps of the career ladder.
Hmm.
So, like, if AI is good enough, like a good junior developer, how are we ever going to get people who are just starting at development to get
Yeah.
ahead of junior development? If it like gets to be like mid level, like there's like all these places where it's like it takes like there is at some point where you have enough knowledge that like you are valuable as an engineer in the AI engineering process. Like you are capable of looking at the output, reviewing it, and being like, something feels fishy. How do you
Hmm.
get to the point where you can identify that something feels fishy? When there's no incentive to get there for future generations of like new engineers, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that I'm like, what's gonna happen? I'm not worried for myself. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about like you. I'm not worried about like people who have been doing engineering for like 6+ years, depending on like how much they put into it.
Are you
Obviously, if
worried
you've just
about?
been trying to get by, like you just write code to like punch a clock, like maybe you should be worried. But like if you're somebody who like cares about engineering and cares about design and cares about like building things and has
Hmm.
been doing that for years, like you're fine. You have got experience, you've got taste, you've got like instinct that matters, because AI is not perfect and it will
Yeah.
never be perfect. Um it can generate a lot of stuff, but there there still is involved in that um nebulous nebulous decision making, and like being able to like make decisions in the context of like a business or a company, and like in the context of like working with other engineers and other systems, that like AI just can't solve those problems. So I guess it's just that like first bit that I'm like, that's the part that I'm generally
Disagreement.
concerned about.
Yeah. I
'Cause it's
guess
like
with
I
that
don't know
then.
if I would tell my kids like, hey, you should try to be a software engineer.
Okay. That's what I was going to get into is like, how would you, how, knowing what we know about AI now, how are you thinking about your kids' future? Is it
I'm
changed?
The way that I'm thinking about it is like, somebody else said this. I don't remember who said it, but they were like, find something that you care about. Find like help your kids find something that they're passionate about,
Yeah.
and then like help teach them to be like relentless in pursuing it with all the tools available.
Yep.
Um, like that I think is going to be true no matter what. I think in the future, like the people who are like better set up for success in a career are people who are creative,
Hmm.
I think. Just because like they have like the capability to be the ones who, like, when tools can do more, then the people that you want are the kind of people who are like, well, thinking like, what can we do with it? Because like once the decisions have been made on like what you're going to do, then like AI can do the rest,
Yep.
like that. It's like there's no longer the, okay, well, we decided that we want the buttons to look like this and we want the buttons to go here, or like we want the software to do this, and now we need somebody to implement that. And because
Hmm.
you have studied a language for long enough, you can now be the person to do that. Like that layer of it, I think, is going away.
Yeah.
And so it's like, unless you're the type of person who is like really interested in software and products and creating like systems and like whatever, like then go find something that you do care about, being the person who is like coming up with the ideas and coming up with like the momentum.
Hmm.
um because I think that there's not going to be as much place for people who are just um what's the word I'm looking for, foot soldiers,
Yeah. Just like on for the journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Davis, that's interesting because I think it's completely. You said like the conversation is very similar to what I talk about cyber domain. Getting a degree in cyber is great, but you have to have lived in the IT domain to be effective in cyber. That's why I think like kind of related to what you're saying, Davis, but like also
His
like
name,
what you're
okay,
saying,
just real
Will.
quick. His
Yeah,
name
yeah.
is he's got his last name first. His name's Clint.
Oh, okay. Clinton. Sorry.
He was the best man in my wedding.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Man in my
What's
wedding.
up, Clinton?
He should have been the best man in my wedding. He
And
is
Peak
was
Flow.
in my
Happy
wedding.
Friday.
He was my
Honorary
he was
best
my
man.
college roommate. And
Oh,
he's
there you
like
go.
one of my like best friends. But his name's Clint Davis.
Clint
Yeah.
Davis.
Get your
Well, Clint,
username right, Clint. You're
glad to have you
confusing
here.
people out here.
Peak Flow, happy Friday. But no, like Ryan, kind of similar to what you're saying. It's funny because I think the shift that we will see, and probably what I will push my kids to, and of course, this could probably change next week and next year, who knows? So I'm not worried. But is I think that it used to be white collar jobs were what was safest and also like scalable. I think with AI, what we'll see is like uh shift in dynamic in classes where the arts and blue collar jobs of like things that you're like, oh, I am a plumber and I want to make sure like every single, specific connection is
Mhm.
secure and possible. Like,
Yep.
and I want to put art, I want to put time and craft into that. Um, and I think like it's all that stuff that is going to be more appreciated because of AI. And then also just like completely shift. Where like I am going to probably encourage my kids. And of course, like I said, this could probably all change next week. But I'm probably going to encourage my kids to like do trade school, like for the
Interesting.
thing that they are passionate about.
Yes. I think
Go work with someone for
he's
5
mostly
years
saying this
after
because
high
he's a
school.
full-on dance dad. That's awesome.
Yeah, AI can't dance, so we're good.
I can't dance, so you're good. Yeah. No. I mean, honestly,
We should get merch. That should be that to be a slogan. AI can't
there are
dance.
so many classes of jobs that are like totally safe.
Yeah,
Will always be needed.
ours is probably not one.
And yeah, like ours is not like Allie like never has to worry about this. Like we will always need teachers. We will always
Yep.
need like elementary teachers because it's not just about knowledge, it's also about like social emotional, like how do you teach kids to be like good like citizens of the world? How do you teach them to like be able to interact with others well? How do you teach them to like handle the emotional up and downs of like being around people and interacting with other people? Like that's just not going away. um and trades are definitely not going away.
No,
So I think I would agree. I don't know if I'm necessarily going like doctors. Doctors are never going away, like
no.
not anytime soon, at least. I do think all of these can be augmented and amplified by AI tooling probably along the way, but like
Yeah.
the root
I
of
think
them
like
are not going away.
doctors, for example, like if you're just even plumbers, whoever like specific trade, the ones who use AI as a tool are going to be better than the other ones who don't. I will say that.
So I think it's just a matter of like I think there probably will be some. I would think of it like this. I don't think any careers are going away, but I
Hmm,
do think jobs are going away. Like
interesting.
there are some
But
roles where it's like you did this not because like you were passionate about some career, you just did this
yeah,
because you needed a job.
yeah.
Um,
I'm curious
like
then. What kind of
data
percentage would you put in it? Do you think? Like, let's say end of 2 years,
into 2
a
years.
group of like let's say like 500 people in your church. How many of them lose their jobs in 2 years because of
Mhm.
it? Strictly because of AI.
Oh, that's an interesting one because I think in my area let's just do like a
General
general
like 500
let's say
people.
a group of 500 people across a bunch of different jobs. I would probably say like maybe 10, 15
10 people.
max.
Okay.
10, 15% of
For percent. Okay.
500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I
I
do
agree.
think it'll be
I agree.
I think it'll be like a big percentage of people who like the job that they did will either have completely changed or go away.
Yeah. And
Like
they
they
either
may
have
not
to
have gotten
adapt.
fired, but the job that they stay in the company by doing something different, but what they
Yep.
were doing is just gone.
Yep. Yep. It's crazy to think about. I've got one more thing to show before
Cool. Hit
or
me with it.
uh so it was kind of like a um similar to like when we were talking about like the how fast you can do things now is crazy. And so I had this idea earlier this week. Um, I was spinning up new projects, and Livewire has this Flux UI. Shout out Flux UI, not sponsored, but it's worth the whatever price it is right now. Let's see what it is. $149 per project, or $299 one time for limited projects. I got in at a really good rate when it started, but it's essentially like a whole bunch of components specifically for Livewire,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a whole bunch of free ones too. But the paid ones are like there's like charts, there's like um I don't know, there's like a composer, like a whole little like AI thing
Right.
with little buttons. There's a whole bunch of components. Basically, the component library I think for Livewire because it's built by the same person who made it.
Yep.
I always disliked that I couldn't make it whenever I was like spinning up new projects, new demos. Same thing with like Shad CN. I'd never liked that it just all looked the same. Like even
Mm-hmm.
if it looks nice, it still all looks the same. And Flux has themes where like I
Mm-hmm.
could be like, oh, let me put a little amber, we'll make it dark and this, and also like, okay, these little niceties. We're like, oh, now this
Yep.
looks nice. This looks completely different, super
Mm-hmm.
nice. Make it lime. Um, but I use this thing called Tweak CN,
Yep.
which is basically for Shad CN. You can like literally let me grab like this bubblegum theme. And then all of a sudden, you just copy
Completely
this
different.
code and it just changes your whole app.
Yep.
If you're using ShadCN components or if your AI agencies actually do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, what would happen if I built this for Flux?
Yep.
And so like just with like it was literally one night of a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of prompting, a little bit of massaging and like tweaking. And so I built
Yeah.
like this tweak Flux thing,
Yes.
which already has 64 stars on GitHub. That's pretty sweet.
That is
Uh,
sweet.
but it's essentially like a global require component. So that
Mm-hmm.
way, like if all you have to do is
You
be like,
make
oh,
the
let me do the
in your app.
yep, you just build an app or like the Laravel starter kit with Livewire. And then if you
Right.
want like this little retro theme or maybe like ocean, or let's do that's the default theme, or maybe like brutalist, and it all works
Mm.
light mode or dark mode with
Yeah.
every single component
Yep.
that is in Flux.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went one step further because I was like, and you might dislike this as a designer, but the one of the UI websites that I like the most is Post Hog.
Oh,
There's something about these buttons
love post
that I really like. And I don't know what style, you could probably say like what style this is. I don't know. Is it like brutalist,
honestly,
neo brutalist?
it's not brutalist. It's like it's a retro style, but it's not like a full retro.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
just have always liked that because it looks so different than everything else I see.
Then when you press it, it like looks like you're pressing the button
Yeah, it looks
in.
like a
Yeah.
little button coming in. So I was like, what if I did this for Tweak Flux, but then I
Mm-hmm.
have to get really custom CSS? And then like, what if you change a component that does it? But the cool thing is Flux allows you to take the component itself and just override it with CSS. So I
Mm.
built, we'll go in light mode. I built Posty, which is Postdog.
Yep. Yep.
So
Ooh. Okay.
little components with little buttons
Little.
and some other little themes. And the
Ooh.
cool thing is like this one's probably my favorite, Posty Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is like the thing of like working fast with AI is one thing, but then it's like those guidelines that we say. I essentially just came up with an idea based off of Shad C or Tweak CN to say,
Right.
hey, let's just have a JSON for literally every single theme. So if we want to create a new theme, I have a skill that can be like, I have
Mm-hmm.
a skill that you can just like apply a skill and then AI knows how to set the JSON theme. So if you're like, hey, your color generator, I could just paste in the OK
Yeah.
LCH and say, just give me a
Absolutely.
new theme off of this.
You
It's
absolutely could.
crazy.
Yeah. No, that part is so great, which is just like the things that like weren't worth your time before or required so much investment
Oh yeah.
not because they were hard problems, but because they were just like a lot of work problems. Like, hey, this is a very simple thing, but it requires so much like typing to just
Oh
make
yeah.
this like work. Is like those class of problems are just so fun. Like so, just oh, I had this idea, let me do it. 5 minutes later, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
liked
like the hey, I was using Tari, now I want to use Electron. Just switch them for me, please.
yeah, and I like that it's like that thing that you're talking about. Like like if I spent a week on that, literally like 2 hours a day for a week, that probably would not
Mhm.
be a good use of my time. But
Right.
literally that I could spend it like do like 3 hours and like a little bit of tweaking here and there and like have AI be like, "Hey, I want this theme now." And all of a sudden it started with like 6 themes and now I have like 20 just because
Yep.
it's so easy to find it and switch it. Is like I am improving what I like to do while
Mhm.
also like learning how to do it better.
Ah,
Peak flow,
I
that's a great idea. Uh, probably be unsafe, but if site visitor could say, "Hey, I would like the theme to look like X," and have AI change it. See, it's probably doable. Honestly, I might have to try that out.
I would hope, I would think so.
Yeah,
I mean, a
but
lot of places,
it's
a
just
lot of things.
JSON.
I mean, it's not that much different than like you already have to define like a custom schema format.
Yeah,
So it would not be that hard to have like an agent that is very scoped into knowing what that schema is
yeah.
and like being able to just generate some colors for you.
And I already
You could
have that.
you could
I already
also
have a
potentially
an
put in
agent
some
skill at
barriers to say
least.
like, hey, make sure that like color contrast is always blah 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 this. So like people, it doesn't generate something where like text disappears or something.
Yeah, yeah. And I kind of already have that built into like the skill. So essentially, like I could probably do like one prompt with Laravel AI, and I could have that
Mhm.
in
Ah,
the site easily.
nice. Dude, that's awesome.
All right, you
Uh,
got one more thing, Will?
I do have one more thing.
And it's
I've got
mainly
2 more
Friday.
things. So,
Ooh,
let me
I like 2 things.
this is so this um is the yin to the yang of the article that you shared. So, the article you shared was this like big doomer post
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like AI, which was like, "Hey, your entire life and career is changing. You need to do something about it." Um, this whole post, this is an incredible post. If you've not read this one, you need to read this because
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
just
I think
it's just
it was
literally your response to it. Yeah.
it was a response to it. Um, and the thing that I saw is, let me see here. There we go. This one is good because I'm a woodworker, so I understand this. A woodworker who spends 6 figures a year on exotic hardwoods will never build. He will never build with is not investing in output. He's investing in scrap. The wood exists so that the
Ooh.
tools have something to touch, and the shavings and the scraps are the products. So, like, it doesn't matter how much you are doing if you are not doing something meaningful with the tools that you are given.
So
Uh,
you're saying
he
it's
compares it to
okay
like
that I spend $200 a month on every single AI.
he compares it to like Farmville, where it's like you can make things happen. You can get more sheep. You can make more crops. You can spend so much time making like feeling like you are making something, doing something,
Yeah.
but you are doing nothing. The whole
Mm.
point of like what you're doing is just to do more. And he says the number goes up, that's the entire product. And saying like Farmville is a tool shaped object. Um, but it's all based on this like idea of this tool made in Japanese culture, like history. They made this tool called a kana, and it's for like woodworking. And the tool is like this beautifully crafted, like planer, basically, where like you can shave the thinnest piece of wood where it's almost translucent when you've got it dialed in. But because of how much work goes into that tool, it costs like thousands of dollars to get like a hand plane thing,
Mm.
uh, when nobody's going to do that because there are machines that like just plain whole pieces of wood in 2 seconds for you. So it's like, although this thing feels like and looks like this incredible tool, like it's not useful.
Yeah.
It's shaped like a tool, but nobody is actually using the tool to do anything with it. They're just using it to look like they are somebody who does tool like things with tools. And he's saying like that's a lot of what is happening with like LLMs and AI lately is like he's specifically talking a lot about like the Claudebot stuff. Um too, where it's just like just because you can make it seem like you're doing all this stuff um doesn't mean you're actually doing like you're just doing tool shaped work. You're not actually doing work. And I think a lot of people are out there spinning their wheels using AI to do these things that they thought they would never be able to do before. But the reason was not because they couldn't do it before. It's the reason why is because like it was not valuable before, like
Yeah.
um like it was not valuable enough to you and then you don't suddenly value it now. Um you just like to feel and look like what you're doing is work. And what he's like trying to say is like he's like it's not that LLMs are worthless. Like there's a lot you can do with it. Um this is like the good line, which is like is that diffusion into the real economy will take much longer. It'll look much different than the current run on the Mac Minis thing. Um,
Yeah.
it's like LLMs are good tools. They do real work, but the line between the tool and the tool shaped object is like a gradient where it's like you need to constantly be thinking like, am I doing this work because it matters or because the LLM makes it easy to keep going down this rabbit hole of doing this thing.
Yeah.
Like you still have to be looking at yourself and asking yourself like, is this valuable?
Hmm.
You know?
I like that.
But I do I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. But maybe we'll line it up for next time. But I want to dig into um this is my DAW editor.
Ooh, it's looking nice.
This is a desktop app now. This is the part that I spent way too much time on. Um this is like the project tab. So like this will be the homepage. Right now I've got it like hard coded to show me the timeline because I'm trying to really dial in the timeline. But like in the future this will like toggle between all the different projects. You can add a new project and it will like create the project, add it to the list, and then you'll just like get all your tabs up here. And you see this little animation here where it like the pill moves and changes size.
Ooh.
So this is built using Remix. So I'll show that one thing because this is like a really cool feature of Remix. This is in tabs. This is an indicator. Nope, this is going to be in root. All right. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So this is built into Remix. So this is an animate tag. And you know how like have you ever used motion? Like framer
Yeah.
motion, now motion, whatever. This animate property is built into every Remix component out of the box.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So you can use CSS transitions.
Yeah.
But if you want to do something that is like interruptible and
Okay.
like actually falls into like for instance, if you went to here and I did it fast enough and these were far enough apart, like if I had like 7 of these, if I clicked the first one and then clicked the fourth one, it would stop before it got all the way to the end and would like transition to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like CSS transitions can't do that. They're not interruptible.
Yeah.
And like these are. That's like why a
Yeah,
lot of people
interesting.
use motion. But this is like built in. So this is like, and this is also built like Remix component. This is a spring animation. So they've got spring animations built in, and you can pick different kinds. So I chose snappy, but you can also do smooth. You can do bouncy. So like the type of animation where it moves past where it's supposed to go and then comes back. You can also define like custom values, but like they just give you some stuff that you can work with. And so like that's here in this like animate. But you can animate the like when it shows up, when it exits, and like its layout. So like if it's always there and you want to animate a layout change from like here to here, which is like what we're doing in this
Yeah.
case, like we're animating its position. That's what layout is for. You can also animate the enter. So like if something is not visible and suddenly becomes visible, you can define the animation that you want for that. And you can do this based on like all of these, like literally any. There's probably like some level, but they're all like CSS based. So like opacity, transform, and then you pick like what transforms that you want to happen, duration, the type of easing that you want it to be. You can also do like keyframes to where they're like multi-step. You can do conditional ones to where it's like if this case is true, then animate it, otherwise don't. And so like this is just built into every single component. You don't have to add a new library. You don't have to do anything else. You just get animation on any component for its entry and its exit out of the
That's
box.
sick.
Yeah.
They do not have like they don't have these docs published yet, right? It's just in their GitHub repo.
Yeah. So this is specifically for like I'm only using Remix component. So Remix is like a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So Remix is also like the back end as well, if you want it to be. But since I'm building like a desktop app, and I wanted to use Effect TS anyway for like my stuff. I'm not using like the Remix backend, but I am using Remix components because they built all of these things individually to make like the whole stack possible. Like every piece of the stack is like an individual package you can like use as you want it. And then they put it all together as part of this like Remix package if you want to do like the full stack thing from front to back. But I'm not doing that because I don't want any of their backend stuff. So I use only like the component package and then the interaction package. So the interaction package is like all their like event handling stuff, which is like really good. But yeah, I'll dig into next time that we hop on here. I'll dig into some of this stuff and like show some like the really cool things. I think there's like some really interesting like here's how you did it. You would do it in React. Here's how you do it in Remix, and why Remix is better because of that.
Yeah.
So
that's sick.
But I don't have all the time in the world that I would love to show off that stuff, and we're not going to stay on here forever today for everybody.
It's Family Friday.
What you got going on next week?
Not too much, honestly, in the sense of like for work. Personally, so like Valentine's Day tomorrow. My wife's birthday's on Monday.
Valentine's on,
and we have it off work.
Then birthday pretty soon after.
Holiday, yeah.
That's back-to-back husband
Back to
duty
back.
right there. Like, be on your toes, man.
I need to do better. So yeah, like that'll be fun. And then yeah, I think overall I've got some fun videos that I want to make that I have been kind of working on. And then I have like 2 like long-term projects that I've been working on in terms of development. More of like is this possible? What's next kind of thing. The biggest one that I'm kind of like still tinkering with is what would GitHub look like for people who aren't developers, but who are building with AI.
Oh, do you have like a solution, or do you just have like, is it more like a idea in my like a?
It's an idea that I'm starting to find a solution. I think that the solution is like essentially obfuscating all of Git and making it actionable hooks within AI agents.
Mm. Okay, I want to hear more about that. So yes,
Yeah.
we're talking about that next
I
time.
might have more to show next week too. 'Cause
Good.
that's my little like fun one. That's like this could either just be completely dumb and only useful for certain things, like maybe
Mhm.
certain projects. Could be like packaged into projects, or this could
There's somebody that I was
make
looking
me
at.
millions of money.
You need to check out what is the product? In AMP. There was a guy.
AJ, when's your birthday? Watch me like actually have videos for you to do on your birthday. That'll be my
I don't
present for
know
you.
if I'm going to be able to find this. Um, but if I find it, I'll send it to you. So the people who are making AMP, one of the engineers wrote this package, and it's called Git Hunks. And like I think the idea behind Git Hunks is like, if you work trees are terrible, and like in theory you're going to have a lot of people, like you're going to spin up multiple agents to do the same things on the same code base. Like how can you create a system that doesn't have to make a ton of work trees but can still like split different pieces if you decide to undo, like, hey, I'm working on this, I like what you did in this other agent but I want to undo this stuff that you did with this other agent, kind of thing. And he
Yeah.
has this project called Git Hunks where
Get
it like
hunks.
auto commits pieces of a file
See,
with like
that's what.
auto generated IDs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I think people are going to start. I think that is like
That's the
Pierre,
solution.
the GitHub alternative, Pierre
Yeah.
and company. They've
I saw
like
that.
they've pivoted to like just being good, like Git storage for like scale. For like I think this is like what you're doing, looking into is like one of the next big AI coding problems to solve,
Yeah.
which is just like,
And like I think
how does Git work? Like how does like keeping track of changes on something work when you have a ton of people simultaneously working on something?
yeah. And I think obfuscating it for people who are like, because I think, the marketers, sales team, product teams, they're going to be shipping stuff more and
Mhm.
they don't want to have to worry about like, oh, let me open up this PR and then I'm going to, make sure that this work tree is like separated and then we're going to merge it. And like, even like knowledge, like, or language, they don't want to use that. They just want to be like, hey, I'm working on this.
Like
Now
you should
let's
just
make it
automatically
live.
be able to like version things for me. Like
Yep.
make a change. Let me go back to this change that I was doing before. I don't care if that there's a technical term for it. I just want to be able to undo and redo like
Yep.
it's a Word doc.
And they don't want like the diff in code to be like the indicator. They want the, hey, like this was like the result or like the prompt or whatever it was. They want that.
That's a good point too. Let me see if I can find this person too. Probably not. Actually, I can't think of the person. There was somebody who was exploring this. There's a lot of people who are like looking into like really cool stuff like this. But it was somebody who was like, it's all about harnesses, like it was that idea, which was like
Yeah.
somebody was like, what happens when you leave, like you start a agent, you leave for a while and you come back and you need to pick up with like what was going on. Like a giant thread of text is not the best way to do that. Like what are different ways that we can present the same information?
Yeah.
Like how can we present the available information so that people can more confidently review and understand work that agents are doing?
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, anyway, lots of cool stuff.
What about you? What's going on this
Uh,
next week?
let's see. Next week, I don't know if we have anything specific going on next week. I think it's a pretty chill week.
Chill week. You
Um,
off on Monday?
I am off on Monday.
There you
I
go.
think we're gonna have some fun, and go to Auburn. They've got like this giant kids playground that's like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially compared to like anything we have here. And brother Allie's brother lives in Auburn, and our kids love them. They're like favorite aunt and uncle status by far. So they were like, well, we could go to that awesome playground in Auburn and eat lunch and spend some time with Emmy and Uncle Bo. And they're
There
like,
you go.
yeah, let's do it. So we'll probably do that Monday. And then I think like next week we've got like a bunch of like we're getting into like release season for like work. So gonna be doing a lot of that. And then pretty soon here I gotta start buckling down on getting my talk in order for React Miami.
There you go. It's gonna be here before you know it.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm just capturing a bunch of stuff. Like AI is changing. So like the whole talk is like AI broke hiring. What now?
Yep.
And like every week the answer to what now is like changing. So it's like
You can't really
gonna,
finish that talk until the week before.
right. Like it can't really like officially like do it. So like I'm just this is like the way I tackle like most talks at this point. Is just like just have a single like document, Notion in this case, Notion doc, where I'm just like anytime I see something that's like, oh, this like applies to like what I'm doing, like shove everything in there. Anytime I have this idea, anytime I have like a thought about it, just shove it in there, unstructured, unorganized, and just like constantly be like churning it over in my head. And then closer to time, I'll like go through all of that and like formalize it. But this like helps me like by the time I'm sitting down to make it, I've already really thought through all the different pieces and have all my reference material that I need for it.
I love it.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right.
Well,
it's the
been a
weekend.
great Friday.
It's Valentine's. I hope everybody has a wonderful Valentine's. For all you dudes that are listening who have wives, get on your P's and Q's, man. You only have one day. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck. Well, everyone, thanks for being around. Thanks for chatting. It was fun. It's fun Friday. Fun Friday.
Dude, if you are in Miami, please come say hey.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you can maybe we'll get like I'll build like a little thing you can like an iPad you can take me around.
That would be
Miami.
hilarious.
There you go.
Little Josh bot.
See you, Big Flow. See you, everyone. Have a great
Have a good weekend. See you.
weekend.